Welcome back to MMAOddsBreaker. I'm Frank Trigg. Today we got Micah Miller, the Maverick, getting ready to fight in Titan Fighting Championships 29, Bristol Marunde. Marunde, sorry, I apologize. Micah, you're one of 50 guys that are fighting right now on Titan, on Titan FC 29? Don't you guys have 5 guys from your team fighting on the same card?
Yeah, I think we have 5 exactly fighting on that card. And man, anytime that we can get a lot of guys like that and we can roll deep, it's always it always feels a little more special. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, but I don't want to say yeah, but what is the warm-up situation going to be like? Because I don't think Titan's going to let you bring 10 corners. For each guy to have his own 2 corners. So how is the warm-up situation going to happen backstage?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Titan about that. But I don't see why they wouldn't give us all the corners that we needed. But who knows? We work with a lot of the same coaches, so I don't think it'll really be an issue. I think it'll be more crazier for the coaches than it will be for the fighters, because they have a lot on their table for this card coming up. So I think it puts a little more pressure on them than it does us as the fighters.
Yeah, that's true. And who normally corners you?
It's normally my brother Cole Miller and my jiu-jitsu coach Marco Stamata and my Thai coach Katel Kubis.
Okay, so those three coming with you for this fight?
Yes.
Okay, and then you assume, because there's so many guys on there, the Barrow's going to come too. So there's 4 guys at least, and then you figure there's a couple other guys. It won't be as bad as I thought. I was figuring that it'd be 4 guys total for everybody, not just your typical 3, and then Saunders is going to have a different 3, whatever. It's going to be a melee. You guys should all be okay.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, we work. A lot of us work with the same coaches, so I think we'll be okay.
Does it put pressure? I know you said there's a lot of pressure on the coaches because they're kind of scrambling and trying to get stuff together with 5 guys on the card. Does it put some pressure on you guys too? To come in there with all you guys to come in there and win, and not be the only guy that loses if there's only one guy that loses, because you don't want to be razzed when you get back into the gym the next week. Does that put a little extra pressure on you guys too, having that many guys rolling in?
I don't know. Maybe for some people, believe it or not, I come from a wrestling background, and it never really bothered me when if somebody came off the mat and got their ass whooped. You got to do your own job, and you can't really let stuff like that affect you. But you're right. It isn't good when if somebody comes back into the locker room and they're all busted up. It's not a good omen, I don't think. But a lot of the guys here that are on this card are all professionals, pretty seasoned vets. So I don't think that would really going to be a factor.
Now, I talked to Bristol a couple days ago, and his first thing he was talking about, he's a guy that always takes fights on short notice. He had a week notice to fight Jacare and goes to a decision, and some other fights were just like that, where he got that last minute phone call and he shows up and goes, he didn't get a decision against Jacare. He gets over in the 3rd round, halfway through the 3rd round before he gets submitted, and then it happens with him a lot. And he said finally with this camp, he moved back over to Extreme Couture. He's got Robert Falls as his head coach, and they made him slow down, made him back off, and he's kind of gone through a full training camp, but he does work another full-time job as well. So he does have some other distractions. Do you think now having a full training camp and being fully focused on this fight is going to make him a better athlete, or do you think it's going to make him a little bit more stressed out because he's used to taking that last-minute fight, not having to have that 8 weeks to think about the fight?
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced that myself, man. You take a 8-week training camp, and it's there's so much time it's almost like there's too much time. I like to take, I guess when you say camp, I like to do a little shorter camps. I used to do longer ones earlier in my career, and I feel like I just would get burnt out physically and mentally. It's like I want to fight already, and there's 2-3 weeks left to go fight, and you're still not there yet. You got to keep pushing. But I think for whatever reason, this 8-week number has become kind of the standard for fighting, and I don't know that I really agree with it. For me personally, you got to find your own groove. I think if you're always training and you're always trying to improve, and even if you're not like going super hard in the gym, like if you're just showing up, trying to improve every day, and you get a call, I think you only need about 4 or 5 weeks if you're in there consistently. So, that's kind of what I've been trying to do for the past couple of years, and it's worked out so far.
And I actually agree with you on that one, Micah, that you don't really need the 8-week, 10-week, 12-week training camp unless you're not doing anything at all. And then all of a sudden you get a phone call like, why do you need 12 weeks? So why do you need 12 weeks? Well, because literally I've been sitting on the couch for the last month and a half, I haven't been doing anything. It's going to be 2 weeks just to get back in the shape of getting back through repetition. Then 2 more weeks to get through my learning process, and I get to start my 8-week training camp. Well, that guy's way behind. I really believe in constantly improving, constantly training, constantly being in the gym. Even if you're just there and you're not even working out, you're going to pick up stuff because you've been doing it for so long. You understand what's going to happen. Are you a guy that when you're not in training camp, are you still doing 2-a-days, or do you back down to I'm just going in the gym once a day, but it might be longer? I might be in there for 2 hours, for example, or 4 hours, for example, once a day, as opposed to 2-hour sessions when I'm in training camp?
Yeah, I'll do 2 days, but it's not like a strict everyday thing. Like I'm not like I have to be in the gym twice a day every day. Like, I might do 2 days, 3 times that week, and then one's the other 2-3 days a week. So, kind of what I'm feeling, I kind of go with my gut, kind of what I'm more focused on at that moment. Kind of like, am I more in a jiu-jitsu zone, a takedown zone, a judo zone, a boxing zone? Kind of, it depends on where my training's really taking me at that point, in my life. But yeah, I don't need to do 2 days every day because mentally, when you're young, it's like, man, everything's so new and you can just like put your pedal to the metal and just go. But I've been doing this since I was 18. I guess I'm 27. I'm not very old, but I feel like I've been doing it for so long and going so hard for so long that it's you kind of needed to step off the gas a little bit and go. This pace isn't sustainable for what I want to for what I want to do and what I want to keep going into my late 30s. You can't do that. Nobody ever tells you that when you're 19. So,
well,
but even if they did tell you that, you wouldn't listen. So
exactly, because they're and now we're learning. I come from a very hard wrestling background, and the only way to get better was to go harder, longer, stronger. And that's what we just do. We just like spending more time, banging heads. And then all of a sudden, at the end of it, you're beat up and you're banged up. And that really is what tears guys apart, is that those major injuries that sideline them and they never really fully recover from because they never take that time to back off. Now, tell me if I'm incorrect, but you started fighting professionally in 2006. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you're fighting in 2006. It's 2014. Yeah, you're only 27, but that's a lot of fights. And for the folks at home that don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, your record is 19-6. So over the last 8 years, you've been banging heads pretty heavily, and you got 25 fights in. That's a lot of fights in 8 years. That's a good mix. And so really, you are a seasoned veteran, even though your age doesn't show it. Do you sometimes feel like? I mean, I know your coaches now or understand you and understand how you operate and how you think. But did you kind of get that sense when they first started working with you that they were trying to treat you by your age in birth years and not by your age in the fight world?
Yeah, a little bit. And I probably deserved it. Like I didn't start training. Like I know a lot of people that are kind of doing this sport. They have a specialty and they've been training for a really long time and they're disciplined and then they kind of do MMA and develop a game around their background. But I wrestled, but not at a high level. And I didn't even like continue it into the off season. Really, I just kind of wrestled a couple months. Every season when I was a freshman, and then when I started fighting, it was just kind of like everything all at once. So I needed a lot of coaching, and I didn't always get it. And sometimes you had to just kind of do things on the fly and watch a lot of videos of guys fighting, like guys in the early 2000s. Me and my brother would sit in the living room and we'd watch like Nick Diaz Car Parisian and stop the tape and run it back, and it's like, whoa, how do you do this sweep? How do you do that sweep? And have to cook yourself. So, but yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I feel like sometimes they did do that, and looking back, it was for the best.
Well, that's Micah Miller. He's getting ready to fight Bristol Marunde coming up here on Titan Fighting Championships 29. Can be seen on Access Television, August 22nd in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Micah, thanks for coming on here. I appreciate you spending a couple minutes with us. Good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Frank.